Lions TV, how are ya? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever you're watching this and wherever on the planet you may be watching this. This is going to be a transfer rumour speculation / do we want him, don't we want him type video. Last night when I was on the way home from the Chatham Town versus Millwall under-23s friendly, the news broke from Richard Cowley, who is, if you don't know by now, I always bang on about him, you should do, London News Online. His account on Twitter is a very reliable source for not just Millwall transfer news and speculation, but everyone across the London area. But in this instance, it is news that has come in, surprising news again for me, and again, I'm not sure why I'm so surprised. Scott Malone, formerly of Millwall, there is talk that is, well, it's more than talk. When Richard Cowley says something, there's serious weight behind it. He wouldn't say it if there wasn't. So the likeliness now is, if terms can be agreed, personally, because it's only a loan with Derby County, that Scott Malone could be returning to the club. Of course, we've been here before. We know Scott Malone well. He was once a Millwall player, signed from Bournemouth in 2012. He spent 3 years at the club before moving on to Cardiff after we was relegated at the end of the 2014-2015 season. For the younger viewers who may not know, Scott Malone was, and still is, 29 years old now, by the way, a left-sided attacking left-back, perfect for the new Gary Rowett, way we like to play with players bombing on. So, listen, he's had a good career. He's now 29 years old. He left Millwall in 2015, as I said, and he went on to have a good season at Cardiff. 2 good seasons followed. 1 season at Cardiff, then he was transferred to Fulham, and he had good stats there again. Got forward, scored goals, as well as played the majority of their games. So, he moved clubs quickly twice in a row. I don't think that's anything to do with anything other than his progression in his career. Obviously, after Fulham, he went on and joined Huddersfield Town in their promotion season once they was promoted into the Premier League. He then played for Huddersfield Town. An undisclosed fee, I believe that was around £5 million. So he's definitely a player that's gone for good money. He's definitely a player that's highly rated, especially in this division. It didn't really pan out for him, and after a short spell at Huddersfield, he returned to the Championship with Derby. Signed by Frank Lampard in 2018. He can't get in now, not sure why. Refer quickly to what I've seen online today regarding their fans. They said, some of them, there was an article, I think it's Football World Online or whatever, one of those. They said, oh, we'll happily drive him down to you to take him. But things like that can get said amongst fan bases. They get the arse of a player off. They don't like, what a player's doing for the club. He can't get in at Derby, and as a result of that, he could imminently be joining Millwall on a season-long loan. Would you want him back at Millwall? Well, earlier on, I put it out on social media, and there was a very wide range of comments from fuck him, he's a weirdo, to I'd have him back in an instant. So it's a very, very mixed bag. A few comments about him being a weirdo and being a bit of a eccentric off the pitch. Just, if you want my take on that, couldn't give a shit what the geezer does at weekends, as long as he's, weekdays, as long as he's doing the business at weekends on the pitch for us. What they're doing in their personal life is absolutely nothing to do with me, and I just want results on the pitch. Where do I stand with this? It's a difficult one. I've been thinking about it all day. Could be the reason I dozed off earlier. I worried myself to sleep over it. I had a power nap this afternoon. As a result, that's why this video is going out quite late. Could even possibly be the next day. So, Scott Malone. And I did say, and someone did say in the comments, a wise man once said, don't take other teams' players on loan if you've got players in that position. And that is a good point. And I did say that. I'd also point back to what I said earlier on in the week with the squad assessment. What we've got in those areas, and is it enough to keep us in the division? We've got Murray Wallace, who's first choice left wing back. However, yes, his position isn't left wing back. His actual position is centre back, where I personally don't rate him that highly. I prefer him at left wing back. I would say now he is a left wing back. He's had a season and a bit in the Championship in that position. He's adapted to it. I would now say you can put him in that bracket. He can hold his own in that position. He doesn't look uncomfortable to me. He doesn't look out of position. He defends very well. He contains wingers very well. There's only a couple of times I can remember he's been roasted. Preston at home, when we lost 3-1, reminded me a couple of seasons ago, towards the end of the back end of the season, is one that sticks out in my mind. But other than that, Murray Wallace is a solid defender. Is it harsh on Murray Wallace if Scott Malone comes to the club? Well, listen, this is football, and it's Gary Rowett's decision. Gary Rowett didn't bring Murray Wallace to the club. So, of course, obviously, you've got Northern Ireland international Shane Ferguson, who, for me personally, if it was a straight shootout between Malone and Ferguson, I'm taking Malone all day long. Murray Wallace in that equation, he is favoured over Shane Ferguson, and rightly so. It's a very difficult decision. I can see why Gary Rowett wants to do it, because I think that, as I've said this before many times, as attacking as we are down the right, we're not so much down the left. Now, apparently Conor Mahoney's doing well in training. He's going to be a big part of Gary Rowett's plans this season. If you can get Mahoney firing and Scott Malone overlapping him, that excites me. That's going to be a good combo if you can get that going. So, 29 years old. Again, it's another loan, and I'm not thrilled with loan players. But obviously, this coronavirus has changed my perspective on that a little bit, because there's not as many, there's not as much money floating about. There's not as many players floating about. So, it could be an option, and that could be the reason we keep. If we do take this option, it's the third player this season. The only 3 we've signed will all be loanees. Money could be tight. Money has always been tight, Mill, but that could be, extra even more the case now because of this coronavirus. So, Scott Malone on loan. I was over the moon myself, by the way, with a Post Malone headline I come up with. But that's the sad little world that I live in. I still can't make my decision up. I can't make my mind up. And it's a very, very difficult one. If Gary Rowett wants to go with it and he wants to be more attacking, then yes, we do need, as I've said, more strength in depth this season. And of course, Murray Wallace can play centre-back if need be. And it's more cover, it's more strength in depth. However, you've got to remember, that for someone that said that in the comments, and you are right, we do want as much depth in the squad as we can this season. I don't imagine Scott Malone's on £250 a week. I imagine he's on a high amount of wages. So do we need 3 players in that position? Shane Ferguson, Murray Wallace and Scott Malone all offer different things, yes. But it's the wage budget, and it's the wage budget. It's going to swallow up a vast amount of wages if Scott Malone comes to the club, I would imagine. I don't know that for definite, but coming from Derby, previously a Premier League player, he must be on a half-decent contract. He's a good player, let's have it right, and he will offer something different, and maybe I'm worrying too much. But if it was Scott Malone and Murray Wallace, I'll be over the moon. But obviously you've got Shane Ferguson to throw into that equation, and Junior Tienza did play minutes for the first team, which I rightly think he should be in and around it now. So that would mean 4 left-backs at the club. I don't know. And I convinced myself after thinking about it all day, I was going to make my decision in this video. But for once in my life, I may actually sit on the fence, because I'm not sure. He would bring a brilliant attacking quality to our side. He would bring pace to our side. We know he's played at Millwall before. We know he understands it. So he only left the club really because we got relegated and we sold him to Cardiff. So as much as we all heckled him and hammered him when he did come back with Derby under Frank Lampard, and he went missing at half time and had to go off, I'm sure a few of you would like it back. I'm going to leave this one open. I'm not going to make my decision. I'm not a shit house. I genuinely have worried about this all day, when I don't know why. It's nothing to do with me, but I have worried about it all day. There you go. There's the fan in me. There's the fanboy in me for Millwall Football Club. I can see good points in it, and I can see bad points in it. If he comes back on a year-long loan, if I can get it out, and doesn't fire, it eats up a lot of wages. If he does fire, we can start going down the left, what we do down the right. He definitely will improve us, and he definitely could play a part in us trying to push for bigger and better things. So let me know in the comments below. I might even run a poll at some point. This is frazzling my brain that much. But listen, Scott Malone to Millwall, I will keep you posted. It is a strong possibility, as I've said, if it's come from Richard Cowley online. Hope you've enjoyed the video, even though I did make my mind up. I am sorry about that. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.